Do you know about the Bhopal gas tragedy, one of the world's worst industrial disasters? It's a story that begins in the heart of India, in the city of Bhopal during the 1980s. Bhopal, a bustling city, was home to over 1 million people, each with their own dreams and aspirations. But amidst this thriving populace, there lay a ticking time bomb: the Union Carbide India Limited pesticide plant. This plant, a symbol of industrial progress, was ironically situated within close proximity to densely populated residential areas. It was here that an unthinkable disaster was brewing, a disaster that would change the course of Bhopal's history and indeed the world's perception of industrial safety. The city, its people, and the plant all existed in an uneasy harmony, unaware of the impending catastrophe. Now, with this backdrop in mind, let's delve into the dark night of December 2nd, 1984, when Bhopal's destiny changed forever. On the chilling winter night of December 2nd, 1984, a silent killer swept across Bhopal. In the heart of India, nestled within the state of Madhya Pradesh, the city of Bhopal was preparing to retire for the night. The Union Carbide India Limited pesticide plant, a seemingly harmless structure in the city's skyline, held within it a deadly secret. Unknown to the citizens, a lethal mixture of water and methyl isocyanate (MIC) was brewing within the plant's storage tanks. The chain of events that led to this deadly mix-up was a series of oversights and negligence that would forever scar the city's history. As the clock ticked past midnight, the sleeping city was oblivious to the silent catastrophe unfolding. The safety systems designed to neutralize any MIC leak were either malfunctioning or turned off. An alarm did sound within the plant, but it was too late. The lethal gas began seeping out, slowly at first, then with a force that couldn't be contained. Like an invisible grim reaper, the gas swept through the city streets, quietly entering homes and choking the life out of the unsuspecting residents. Panic ensued when people started to feel the effects: burning eyes, choking throats, and a deep-seated fear that something was terribly wrong. The hospitals were ill-prepared for such a catastrophe, and the medical aid that did arrive was woefully inadequate for the scale of the disaster. As the sun began to rise on the morning of December 3rd, the city was unrecognizable. Streets that once bustled with life were now filled with the sounds of wailing and the sight of lifeless bodies. Thousands had perished in their sleep, while countless others were left gasping for breath, their bodies ravaged by the toxic gas. A night that began like any other had turned into a nightmare that the city would remember for generations to come. By dawn, Bhopal had become a city of despair and death. In the wake of the disaster, Bhopal grappled with a catastrophe of unprecedented scale. The city, once brimming with life, was now a tableau of despair and devastation. The Indian government, faced with a calamity of this magnitude, responded with urgency. Emergency services were dispatched immediately, and hospitals were flooded with victims, many gasping for breath, their eyes stinging from the lethal gas. Medical aid was provided swiftly, but the sheer number of affected people made the task overwhelming. The government also launched an investigation into the incident, vowing to bring those responsible to justice. Simultaneously, the Union Carbide Corporation, the company at the heart of the tragedy, was thrust into the global spotlight. They too made efforts to address the disaster. They dispatched a team of medical experts to Bhopal and pledged funds for the victims' compensation. However, many viewed their response as inadequate, a mere drop in the ocean considering the scale of the tragedy. The global community watched in horror as the events in Bhopal unfolded. Offers of aid poured in from all corners of the world. International organizations, governments, and individuals rallied together, providing medical assistance, donations, and support. The tragedy had touched a universal nerve, reminding people everywhere of the potential dangers of industrial negligence. But amid all these responses, one question lingered in the hearts of the victims. Would justice be served? Compensation and medical aid, while crucial, could not erase the pain, the loss, the trauma. The people of Bhopal sought accountability, a recognition of the wrong that had been done to them. Years have passed since that fateful night, and the city of Bhopal has shown a remarkable resilience, a testament to the indomitable spirit of its people. Yet the shadows of that night still linger, a haunting reminder of the tragedy that unfolded. Despite these efforts, the people of Bhopal still yearned for justice. The question of responsibility for the Bhopal gas tragedy is a contentious issue that persists to this day. Many point fingers at the Union Carbide Corporation, the American company that owned and operated the pesticide plant where the leak occurred. Allegations against them range from negligence in safety measures to outright recklessness. They are accused of using substandard technology and failing to maintain safety systems, which were in a state of disrepair at the time of the disaster. However, the Indian government has not been absolved of blame. Critics argue that it failed to enforce safety regulations and allowed the plant to operate under hazardous conditions. The tragedy unfolded in an environment where oversight was lax, and the consequences were devastating. The legal battles that ensued were lengthy and complex. Union Carbide Corporation fought tooth and nail in courts across the globe, from India to the United States. In the end, a settlement was reached in 1989, with Union Carbide agreeing to pay $470 million in damages. Many felt this amount was woefully inadequate, given the scale of human suffering and environmental damage caused. The effects of that fateful night are still felt today. Thousands of survivors continue to suffer from health issues, such as respiratory problems and vision loss, a grim testament to the ongoing impact of the disaster. The site itself remains a toxic wasteland, with contaminated soil and groundwater posing a lingering threat to the local population. Beyond the immediate tragedy, the Bhopal gas tragedy has left a lasting legacy. It served as a wake-up call to industries and governments worldwide about the potential human cost of industrial negligence. It highlighted the dire need for stringent safety measures, rigorous oversight, and most importantly, corporate accountability. The Bhopal gas tragedy serves as a stark reminder of the human cost of industrial negligence and the enduring need for corporate accountability. Over 3 decades later, the memory of the Bhopal gas tragedy lingers as a haunting reminder of a dark chapter in human history. A night of horror, an aftermath of sorrow, the pressing question of responsibility, and a legacy of resilience and reform. These are the defining points of the Bhopal narrative. As we remember Bhopal, we must strive to ensure that such a tragedy is never repeated. Until next time, remember, history is a great teacher.